Hey everyone, it's October 27th and Microsoft just sent over the Xbox Series S. So let's check it out. So this is one of two next generation consoles from Microsoft this coming month, the Xbox Series S and the more powerful and bigger Xbox Series X. We got the Series S here, which is supposed to be the smaller of the two, also the less powerful of the two, but still capable of doing things like running up to 1440p at 120 frames per second. It also will be back compatible with all your other Xbox games, just like the current Xbox One X is. So you'll have access to all your library of games from the past generations and the upcoming next gen one. Looking around the box, it's covered in all white and green, pretty much mimicking the look of the original Xbox 360. The tagline is, of course, Power Your Dreams, and that's pretty much all over the back, along with a couple of games here. Sadly, Cyberpunk 2077 is on there, and that is no longer a November game. As of this morning, it's now December, but you can see a look at the catalog of games coming to the console, including those already released on last generation, or I guess current generation consoles, and those coming in the future. This is a console that's supposed to power Game Pass, and we're going to see a lot of those games on this box, and I'm sure on the dashboard when we boot up the console. But enough lollygagging, let's open this thing up. So I've already done the pleasure of taking the tape off just to make this unboxing a little bit easier. And it opens up just like that. And I mean, there's the footprint of the console. It's incredibly small. This thing is tiny. I for the most part always thought this was going to be about the size of an Xbox One S all digital, and I'm vastly wrong. It's smaller than a shoebox. It is tiny. We're going to open that up in a little bit. But the other things we have beside the console itself is, of course, the controller. And this is the next generation controller, which pretty much has a new grip as well as a share button. That makes it a lot easier to share your clips and just in general your gameplay and everything with your social networks. Oh, and of course we got our AA batteries because still not rechargeable inside the box. Maybe next gen. I feel like I say that every year. And it seems like the last thing we get is our HDMI cable and our power adapter, which is straight up just a AC power cord, no brick. Love to see that because that was a big sad thing on the Xbox One original and the Xbox 360. Glad we got rid of that. But here it is, the full console, the Xbox Series S. Again, this thing is very tiny. Love to see the tagline, Power Your Dreams. That's the new slogan this generation. It used to be jump in, it used to be all-in-one entertainment center. Now it's Power Your Dreams. And I'm just astonished by how tiny this thing is. I'm gonna rip the plastic film off it. But man, this thing is small. I don't think a lot of the console pictures of it do it justice because, again, I was just under the impression that they were gonna pretty much use an Xbox One S all digital, have a fan on top of it, and just put the next gen parts in it. But this thing is absolutely tiny. It almost looks like a micro console Xbox One S to me. I do have an Xbox One X, so this is the most powerful modern Xbox, at least before the Series X comes out. That's how big that is. That is, I mean, if you put them side by side, it kind of looks like they're about the same size, but turn them around, this thing is tiny. And even more impressive to scale is that if you put this right next to the Nintendo Switch, it's about the length of a Switch almost. It's that tiny. It is astonishing. And this is going to be pretty much your all-in-one device that plays your catalog of Game Pass games, next generation Xbox games. Now in comparison to the Xbox Series X, this is targeting 1440p at 120 frames per second, which if you're a PC gamer, that's probably going to sound like a better option than 4K 60 for the most part. This thing is small, all digital, no disk drive. Maybe installing a hard drive or a memory card expansion pack is going to be mandatory at this point. But I mean, this seems like a very suitable, cheap device that lets you into the gate with next generation at a low install and plays games at a high frame rate, which a lot of people are going to want over the whole 4K resolution. And at a small footprint, this thing's impressive. Here we have the Xbox Series S/X controller. We have the white model, and it feels good. The texture grip is a lot grippier than the Project Scorpio model. Both had the texture grip, but this one feels more prominent. And I guess in hand feels somewhat lighter, I think, than the Project Scorpio controller. It feels smoother. The travel distance feels slightly shorter, but firmer in a sense. And it just feels sort of like a more gripped up and compact controller at a lighter scale, and it feels good. Oh, and probably my favorite feature so far on this controller, USB-C. My Switch uses it, my laptop uses it, my phone uses it, now my Xbox controller uses it. So there you have it, your first look at the Xbox Series S. I'm still astonished at how small it is. I mean, here we have a tablet console. In comparison, it's not that big if you really try to imagine the Switch as a box console. And it's even smaller than the current generation console. It's just incredible to see the footprint on this thing. And I don't even have a Series X right now, but I imagine this to be only slightly bigger at a larger scale in terms of power. So that's pretty exciting. Let me know if you have any questions about the Xbox Series S in the comments down below. As always, I'll be using this to review a bunch of next-gen or upcoming Xbox games. And I'll be doing a full review of it, so look forward to that as well. And stay tuned because I also have a PS5 all-digital console coming in pretty soon. So a lot of content here. A lot of next-gen content. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.